Well, it's finally here, my friends. Yes, my Go Go Godzilla challenge. I went through all 32 Toho-produced Godzilla films just in time for the new Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019 to hit the big screen. Brought to us by Michael Dodery, who gave us Trick or Treat and Krampus. Yeah, I'll let that sink in just for a second as we talk about the story where in Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019, it picks up 5 years after the events of Godzilla 2014 film. We follow the Russell family who suffered a tragedy at the hands, foot, and destructive nature of Godzilla. This family suffered a tragedy, and they are part of Monarch. They're a group of very brilliant scientific family, very smart, and, well, one of them has come up with a way that they could possibly control Titans. Yes, we find out that Monarch has been collecting a large assortment of big creatures throughout the years and have had them contained. Well, thanks in part to a group of eco-terrorists, most of these monsters end up getting released and wreaking havoc on the planet. And humanity soon realizes the only way out of this predicament is to put all their money on Godzilla and hope that he will help save humanity and the world from these creatures before he destroys all of humanity with these creatures. And which one does he do? You'll have to watch the film to find out. Folks, this film is a lot of fun. People are talking about the lack of human development, and I love that because in the other one, people are talking about the lack of monster development. Folks, you get out of this film what you might be expecting. And let me tell you, I wanted an all-out monster bash, and that's what you get in here. Your human characters, yes, are a bit cliche. They aren't the deepest. They're not supposed to be, though. They aren't the main focus. They are the ones to help move the audience from Godzilla fight to Godzilla fight, basically, to the monsters. You're witnessing it from their perspective as they're experiencing this holy crap, all monsters attack across the world. You know, that's the thing. And there are characters. It's not that they're badly written, and maybe just not a lot of depth here, which I'm not sure why people were expecting that, because many of the Godzilla films do not have the deepest characters. I can tell you that much. You are supposed to connect with the Madison Russell character, played by Millie Bobby Brown, fantastically. You're supposed to connect with her, feel sympathy for her, not want anything bad to happen for her, and they establish that very well. The adults around her, if they're fodder or they die, you don't quite care as much, but you're not really supposed to. You do have Bradley Whitford in here doing some great zingers and adding some comic relief. Vera Farmiga and Kyle Chandler do great as the mother and father, respectively, Russells. And Ken Watanabe was fantastic. I loved that they named his character Ishiro Serizawa because that was in honor of the original Dr. Serizawa, who was in the 1954 film. And let me tell you, Ken Watanabe is always a pleasure to see on the big screen. The monster fights are why we actually go to this film, folks. And let me tell you, they do not disappoint this time around by any stretch of the means. Not only are the monsters in here well designed, I loved the new designs, the revamped designs of all the classic monsters, and even some new ones that end up showing up. I loved that. I loved that they each had their own characteristic, and if you're paying attention, you will catch the throwback to their classic sounds or origins or little Easter eggs all over the place, giving a little nod to the past variations of these classic creatures, and I loved that. Ghidorah at one point very quietly, and he gets that sound like when he's flying. It's in there. You just gotta listen for it. Mothra is freaking beautiful. I loved the design of Mothra, and she gets to get in on the action. They even have a little nod to the twins that have been attached to Mothra in the past. Yeah, it's in there if you're paying attention, folks. And Godzilla is just looking badass, and Ghidorah was wicked. kid. Loved how they handled these monster fights. They looked phenomenal. They looked so sharp and doing so much great choreography in the fights. And even the way the fights were played out were some odes to classic Godzilla fights. You know, how they fought reminded me of the way I saw them fight in some of the other Godzilla films. So you could tell they were really trying to give you those Easter eggs and make it feel like a Godzilla film. And I think they accomplished that by leaps and bounds. Are they giving you a Marvel-esque deep thought? No, but they're giving you a really good Godzilla film and a fun monster film. The music in here, oh, Bear McCreary does phenomenal in here in working in the classic Godzilla songs and themes for the other creatures while giving them a modern update as well, and very fitting. I was on the edge of my seat. I didn't squeal like a little squirrel, but I got more out of this film than I expected, and I came out of the theater going, I wanted to see it again. I understand some people are disappointed by it, but I think that's because people are looking for something a little different than what a Godzilla film really is. You do still get the elements too in here from Godzilla of the talking about how we are very poor caretakers of the earth through pollution, through deforestation. Those themes are touched on in here enough to remind you of the anti-nuke kind of origins of Godzilla. There's even other Easter eggs in here as well, folks. So if you're a Godzilla fan, if you're a fan of big monster films, if you're looking for an escaped popcorn film that is a spectacle to be seen on the biggest screen with the best sound system theater possible, Godzilla King of the Monsters is that film. I give it 5 stubs. I was highly entertained. It exceeded my expectations, and I know damn sure I'm going to be going back for at least a second, if not a third helping. So please, folks, let me know your constructive thoughts on it. Not just, oh, it sucked, but why, and how many of the other Godzilla films have you seen? Because it by far is no Godzilla's Revenge or Son of Godzilla, just to name a few films. So love to hear your constructive perspective on this film. Please check out our Patreon, and we do have a spoiler room coming up next week where we're going to dissect Godzilla King of the Monsters even further. I thank you for your support, and until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.